to this International Conference on Technological Innovation and Tourism Investment. Mesdames et messieurs, bonjour et bienvenue à la Conférence internationale Innovation et Investissement touristique. If you need translation, you please ask for the headset. Si vous avez une traduction, n'hésitez pas à demander des équipements. I propose to stand up for the Moroccan national anthem. Good morning. I don't know if they are here today or not. Good morning. Oh, great. I have the lights. I don't see everybody. Just want to say I'm delighted to be part of this big event. My name is Tahmi Horfi. My fellow citizens know me. I'm so happy to accompany you today for this big event dedicated to technological innovation and tourism investment. مرحبا بالجميع. To start our work, we're going to talk a lot about innovation. And I think innovation has to be a part of the DNA of tourism anyway, because people need every time a new experience. They need to have something new. They need to discover people, humans, culture, nature, obviously, but also entertainment. And behind that, there are a lot of entrepreneurs, female and male. And all these entrepreneurs, we need them. In a country like ours in Morocco, we need these entrepreneurs with huge investment, but we need also all the SMEs. Without the SMEs, we cannot bring this wonderful experience to people who are visiting our country. To start today, for this opening ceremony, I would be happy to host on the stage the Minister of Tourism, Handicrafts, and Social and Solidarity Economy of Kingdom of Morocco, Her Excellency, Mrs. Fatim Zahra Amour. Please.
Your Excellency, Madam Secretary General of UN Tourism, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's a true pleasure to welcome you to Marrakesh, a city that has for centuries brought together cultures, ideas, and people, a fitting place to discuss the future of tourism. Madam Secretary General, allow me to extend to you our warmest welcome to Morocco. Your presence reflects the strength of the partnership between Morocco and UN Tourism and our shared ambition for the future of tourism in Africa. Yesterday in Rabat, we inaugurated the UN Tourism Thematic Office for Innovation for Africa, and today in Marrakesh, we gather startups, investors, decision makers, and experts around one key priority: innovation as a driver of tourism growth, opportunity, and inclusion. Ladies and gentlemen, under the leadership of His Majesty King Mohammed VI, may God assist him, Morocco is undergoing a profound transformation driven by long-term vision, infrastructure, openness, and investment in human capital, and tourism is a central pillar of this transformation. Our tourism roadmap 23 to 26 is delivering a more competitive, more diversified, and more future-ready model. We have increased air capacity by 30%, added 45,000 beds, supported nearly 2,000 leisure and tourism projects, and strengthens quality across the visitor's journey through a national training program. And the results speak for themselves. Morocco welcomed nearly 20 million tourists in 2025 and generated a record 138 billion dirhams in tourism revenues. But numbers alone don't define success. What defines it, its direction. And our direction is clear: innovation as the next engine of Moroccan tourism. Morocco is building an environment where innovation can flourish, supporting startups and project holders, facilitating access to mentoring, incubation, financing, and markets. And because the future of tourism will be built by young talent, agile startups, and bold ideas. Ladies and gentlemen, Marrakesh is not a random choice for this gathering. It was in this very city in 2022, during the 117th session of UN Tourism, that we launched the call to action on the digitalization of SMEs with a clear conviction: small and medium-sized enterprises must be fully equipped to benefit from the digital transformation of tourism. 3 years later, we returned to Marrakesh with concrete actions. Together with UN Tourism, we launched a first national competition in 2024, focused on tourism investment and cross-cutting innovation. And several awarded projects are today fully operational or expanding, such as Ecodome, Pic à la Bike, Wanot, or Mouja. Building on this momentum, we launched a second edition in 2025 dedicated to niche investment opportunities in leisure gaming, digital services, and Moroccan gastronomy, high potential segments shaping the future of travel demand. And today, I'm pleased to announce the launch here in Marrakesh of a third edition dedicated to a strategic priority for Morocco, which is rural tourism. Ladies and gentlemen, tourism has entered a new era. Travelers expect seamless services and personalized digital experiences without compromising on culture, authenticity, and emotion. And for countries that move early, innovation becomes a powerful accelerator of competitiveness, quality, and job creation. For Africa, it can unlock immense potential. Morocco is proud to be among the continent's early movers. We offer a strong platform for tourism innovation and investment, strategic geography, political stability, modern infrastructure, rich cultural assets, and a clear long-term vision toward 2030 and beyond. So to startups present today with us, Morocco is your launchpad. To investors and partners, Morocco is your opportunity and ally. Let's write the next chapter of tourism innovation together from Marrakesh for Africa. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Minister. And I really appreciate the fact that this gathering is the gathering today. You're right to be here. I would want now to host for the next address the Secretary General of UN Tourism, Her Excellency شيخان نويس. ألف مرحبا.
صباح الخير. مرحبا بكم. Esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, bienvenue. It's a great to be here back in Marrakesh. And before I start, let me ask you a question. Do you know what I love the most about this city? Anyone? More than the souks, the tea, or even the couscous. It is the incredible tradition of storytelling. It reminds me of the only other time I visited Morocco. I met a tour guide. Her name is Khadija. She took me just outside the city to a quiet spot overlooking the Atlas Mountains, where we shared Moroccan tea. We met a beautiful family from the Amazigh. We shared with them their food, their culture, and they opened their homes to us. From there, she told me the story of Marrakesh. Not just the places everyone knows, but the quieter corners, the details you might otherwise miss. And it stayed with me. Because what I remember most is not the view, but how she made me feel. That sense of care, that pride, it reminded me that true storytelling of tourism are not institutions. They are people. People like Khadija. Because in the end, it is people who make a place unforgettable. And when people tell a story that well, something powerful happens. You begin to see things differently. You begin to believe. And that is where transformation begins. Morocco captures that spirit. Do you agree? And I have seen it firsthand. As my friend Imad, chairman and CEO of Smith, told me, I'm international, didn't you? And that, in many ways, is what Morocco represents today. This is not just a destination, it's a global crossroads where cultures meet and ideas travel. A country shaping tourism at scale, now on track to welcome 20 million international visitors this year. And that is remarkable. Over 50% increase in tourism since 2019. And I think this deserves a round of applause. Well done, really. Because scale creates confidence, and confidence drives innovation. Isn't that right? We must earn their belief before we earn their capital. The very best innovators understand this, like those finalists we celebrate today. Thank you to the jury for making this possible. Innovation is not just about technology. It is about creating pathways for young people, for entrepreneurs, and for the next generation to shape the future of tourism. 175 applicants from across Morocco. And I have heard there were some fantastic entries, and congratulations to all the participants. UN Tourism is proud to support these innovators, not just their ideas, but the people behind them. That is why we opened our first thematic office focused on innovation right here in Morocco to serve the whole region. And this is not theoretical, it is already happening. But this story is far from complete. To turn momentum into impact, we need to move faster and work more closely together. We must be modern day hikayat telling, the tourism story with conviction, turning belief into investment and potential into prosperity. Because the stories we choose to believe in today are the realities we build tomorrow. I wish you all an inspiring conference. And finally, I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to the Kingdom of Morocco, to the Ministry of Tourism and the team at the Ministry, and SMIT and the team from SMIT for hosting this conference in true partnership with the UN Tourism. SMIT has been instrumental in advancing Morocco's tourism on the international stage. This collaboration reflects exactly the kind of openness, ambition, and institutional strength that gives investors confidence. And a special thank you to Imad, Chairman CEO of SMIT, and to the entire SMIT team. What I could have seen in a week, I experienced in a single day in Rabat, thanks to you and the team. I have always believed that people are the best representation of a country, and you are a wonderful example of that. You should be proud of that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Excellency, for these opening remarks. And it's always good when we work in partnership, and working in partnership brings better synergies and greater impact, for sure. I really appreciate the fact that you put the human in the center of everything, even the storytelling. And I love this hikayat from Morocco. I thank you very much. It's a mirror, wonderful mirror. Thank you. Really appreciate it. I just want, before having the next speaker in this opening ceremony, I just want to see if in the room, because we're talking about innovation, about investment, are there any entrepreneurs? Raise your hands if you are an entrepreneur. I want to see entrepreneurs. Raise your hands. Si vous êtes entrepreneur. Oh, yes, don't be shy, guys, because, I love that. Welcome. We need your energy. We need your energy. It's really important. And now, we're going to have on the stage for this opening remarks the CEO of SMIT, and I want to thank all the SMIT team for the hard work they are doing in partnership with the Ministry and the UN Tourism for this gathering. I would want to have Mr. Imad Barakat on the stage. Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum. Hi, everyone. Your Excellency, Madam Secretary General of UN Tourism, Your Excellency, Madam Minister, and more distinguished guests, investors, entrepreneurs, and partners, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor to address you today here in Marrakesh, a city that embodies what tourism is becoming. I think we can not just see it a destination, it's an experience, it's an emotion, it's a living energy. I think my friend Hamid are saying it's behja, it's happiness, it's a lot of things. But welcome to Marrakesh, welcome to Morocco, Your Excellency. But beyond its beauty, we are gathered for more fundamental reasons. I think investment and innovation, it's a very important thing, a very important issue that we have to solve. And for decades, tourism investment was driven by infrastructure. We built hotels, resorts. That model created growth, sure, but today is no longer sufficient. Today, experience is more important. What differentiates destination is no longer where people stay, it is what they experience. Culture, outdoor activities, immersive concepts, digital interaction, and we'll see some startups that are helping tourism and doing a lot of things, investing in tourism, because even the small investment is a big investment for us. It's important for us. This is where value is now created. The most competitive destinations are those that have built integrated experience ecosystems. Morocco has strong fundamentals. It have been said by Her Excellency the Minister. We have unique cultural depth, exceptional territory diversify, and a powerful international appeal. But we must be clear. Our experience offer remains fragmented, understructured, and undercapitalized. We do not yet have a fully developed experience everywhere. Marrakesh is exception, Agadir is another exception, but let's say we have to diversify this exception around all Morocco. But if large-scale projects structure the markets, these small and medium investment bring it to life. They are faster to deploy, closer to territories, and highly job creating. It is very important. Big investment creates maybe, let's say, one job for 1 million, 100,000 euro. And if we are talking about small investment, is 3 jobs for 1 million dirham, it's $100,000. So our ambition is clear, to build a structured and bankable and scalable ecosystem. And to achieve this, we are acting across a full investment chain. It is important not just to discuss about one project, but to discuss about the whole ecosystem, and that's what we are trying to do. Improving the investment condition, we discussed about the charter. I think with this new government, we have a new charter, and you can have cash back from this charter as a small investment. We are trying to build this pipeline of bankable projects. It is very important to see what kind of project has to fit in each destination. We developed with the Ministry of Tourism a national project bank, and it is accessible through internet. We accelerate startups. We are structuring a dedicated fund, and of course, we are strengthening global partnership with DFIs, with business angels, with capital risk associations. Some of them are here, but let's say this is not a program. This is a foundation of a new investment model. It is very important because by the past, we were just talking about investment that are upper than 200 million dirham. Today, we are discussing about maybe few dirhams, and it is important if it fits in the experience. It's very important. So startups are not a peripheral ecosystem. They are the ecosystem. They are shaping the future tourism. So they built with us the immersive experience, digital layers, and new consumptions are there. But innovation alone is not enough. The real challenge is scale. Scale is investment. How we can invest in those startups, this is what we want to do for the future. So today we have ideas, sure, we have talents, we have innovation, but tomorrow we must build champions. We must build leaders and scalable platforms. This is what we are here, and I think we'll hear from the panels and we'll see what are the experience, and we have to scale up our experience. This is require access to capital, and tourism innovation is a niche, and it's a value accelerator, a competitiveness driver, and a major investment opportunity. So Morocco is ready today. We have the assets. We are building the pipeline, and we are structuring the ecosystem. My message is simple, and I will end my speech. The opportunity is real. The timing is now, and the scale is ahead of us. We invite you to only to invest, but we build with us the next generation of tourism. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Sheikha, for your nice word. Thank you for your help. And thank you for coming to see us for the first time in Morocco, not for personally, but I'll say as a UN Secretary General. Thank you, Your Excellencies. Thank you for everyone here. Thank you, Hamid, for being here as our partner. I'm not thanking the professional, but they are we are both from the same side. And thank you for being here. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. It's really energizing to hear all these ideas. And I really appreciate the fact that talents are recognized to be here and they are able to help maybe accomplish what we can do the best, give a wonderful experience to our visitors. Let's have a short movie, very short movie, about innovation in tourism.
Tourism investment in Morocco is entering a new era. Driven by innovation, powered by creativity. An era where tourism goes beyond stays to create high-value experiences in vibrant ecosystems. Hackathons, ideation, prototyping, new concepts come to life where technology meets culture. Already in motion, gamified Medina tours, story-driven cultural journeys, immersive culinary concepts, ready to scale, ready to invest. A digital project bank unlocks potential, accelerates decisions, and drives investment. Under the leadership of His Majesty King Mohammed VI, Morocco accelerates innovation to become a modern, competitive destination. With Smith's programs, startups, experts, and territories co-create the experiences of tomorrow. By mobilizing innovation and investment, Morocco is shaping a new generation of experiences. A destination in motion, competitive and value creating. Smith, invest in tourism.
Thank you. And now we are going to have our first keynote speech. And I know that we have entrepreneurs that were applying for these awards. We are going to talk about awards and entrepreneurship and have a dedicated ceremony for the entrepreneurs, but in a couple of minutes. Before that, we're going to host Mrs. Natalia Bayona, Executive Director of UN Tourism, about reinventing the future of tourism in Africa, innovation, talent, and investment opportunities. Ms. Bayona, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, dear Minister, dear Secretary General, dear Imad. Thank you always for your commitment, your leadership, and believing on innovation, education, and investments. The ones who knows me the most knows that this is really close to my heart because when I started 8 years ago, the journey in UN tourism, I started by these 3 pillars. So today, of course, we are going to talk a little bit on where we are, where UN tourism is, what is happening here, and of course, what's the journey. So let's start with tourism data. Morocco, as the minister mentioned before, welcomed a record-breaking of 19.8 million international arrivals. And as the Secretary General mentioned, this performance reinforces the kingdom's leadership in absolute demand because Morocco has ranked as Africa's most visited destination. So, of course, when we see the data, we can see that it's always growing after COVID, and the numbers are there, 23%, 22%, 23%. So in average, the country is booming when it comes to tourism. and today is in the ranking of the top 25 most visited countries in the world. So here, there's not only talent, but also it's a country full of opportunities where by 2030, the country expects to receive 26 million international visitors and substantially help the GDP contribution to the economy thanks to tourism, and of course, to create added value jobs. How Morocco is doing this, and last year we were here as well with Antonio and the team promoting tourism infrastructure, air connectivity, destination marketing, and of course the investment charter for bankable projects, as Imad mentioned before. So why Morocco? On investments, of course, the growth of the GDP it's obvious and it's clear. 4.9% is projected for this year. And a stable outlook that is clear for investors, stability, and having a clear mandate that investments will be respected is here with a long-term planning strategy. So that's why it's number 3 when it comes to foreign direct investments in Africa, with $61 billion invested, representing 7% of the global investment here in the region. So if I go back one slide, when it comes to investments, so Morocco today is number 1 when it comes to new projects in Africa, green investment, greenfield investment projects. 11.7% of Africa's total greenfield investments is captured by Morocco. 29 new projects are coming, with 2.4 billion coming to the economy, to the country. And of course, 15% of tourism projects and 22% of total investments in Africa are coming when it comes to tourism investment. So at the end, it's a revolution. Every single time that I come to Morocco and I say this, it's like coming to a new country because it's always evolving so fast. You have either the entrepreneurs, either more accelerators, or even more hotels preparing, of course, for FIFA, for mega events, but at the end, as the Secretary General mentioned, to have human-centric economies driving the way Morocco is positioning in the world. So then we go to another ranking, and that's the good thing about talking about data, because when you have the rankings there, Morocco is one of the top innovators when it comes to Africa. So this is from the WIPO ranking related to innovation. So Mauritius, South Africa, and Morocco are leading the way when it comes to tourism innovation. And so when we cross startups plus investors, so this is something very important. Morocco is number 6 in Africa by startup funding. Besides the global tensions that we're facing in the world, venture capital has tripled in Morocco. So investors and international investors are seeking for new opportunities in the kingdom. And 53% of funding in travel tech from the whole Africa is coming to Morocco. So yes or yes, the investors are looking at the startups in Morocco because they don't only see talent, they see the opportunity to scale up their solutions and to bring those solutions to other regions. So, of course, we have to build up a stronger partnership, as the Secretary General mentioned before and the Minister. So we started in 2022 with the first agreement focused on working together, identifying the startups, identifying the entrepreneurs with SMIT, with the Ministry of Tourism, to see how we could promote together UN Tourism plus Morocco, investment promotion and digitalization, and of course, to create vehicles for startup fundings. So to us, it's a pleasure to have here, for example, Google for Startups, or to have Bridge for Billions, or to have Taryn Anderson, that is a woman promoting women in technology, to have La Roche, as well as a university. So They have been part of this journey together, the private sector believing in the power of public-private collaboration. Then in 2025, again, we signed the second partnership for 2 startup competitions. So the first one already finished. We already comply with everything. So the winner had not only the opportunity to have mentorship from those big tech companies, but also to have piloted projects here in Morocco. The second one today, Her Excellencies, the Minister, Her Excellency, the Secretary General, and Imad will give the awards to the winners, but then, of course, we need to work again to help them. So here we have the president of the Business Angels Association, so I guess some funding and some more opportunities will come as well for them. And as well, we are going to launch officially the third one, related on how we can innovate by bringing rural and social innovation into the kingdom where people, planet, and prosperity is there. So, of course, innovation and investments can be there, but the most important thing is education. So, of course, without education, without an entrepreneurial mindset, without having incubators aligned with the universities, it's impossible to grow. So I just want to bring some facts about the importance that UN Tourism gives to education, and is one of the main pillars of Her Excellency, the Secretary General of UN Tourism, as her top priorities. So tourism provides, of course, around of 300 million jobs worldwide, and 1 out of 10 jobs in the world are thanks to the tourism sector. And by 2030, we will need almost 1 million new jobs will be created focused on vocational training, on vocational services. But I have something to tell you. 50% of the workforce in tourism only have high school. So if we really want to add value to the economy, we really need to connect entrepreneurship and education and to bring the proper skills so that the youth create not only solutions, but also to advance on their careers related to tourism. And of course, Africa is the youngest region in the world. So here as well is an opportunity. 1/3 of the world's youth is expected to be African by 2050. So here we have all the facts that give us opportunities, and that's why we decided together to open the office. Related to education, of course, we have been working with the ministry. So we just, since 2021, we have created 3 programs related. First one on the fundamentals and good health and safety. Second course on innovation digitalization. And the third one on competitiveness for the SMEs. So in the last year, we have trained 500 people, but it's not enough. We need to train more and to help more. So related to education and technology, we already inside UN Tourism have our Tourism Online Academy, where we have given through UN Tourism more than 4,000 scholarships for Africa. You can go there, and for the entrepreneurs, we invite you to go there because the courses are for free and you just need to pay for the certificate, and the courses are in English, in Arabic, in Spanish, in French, in Chinese, and they have all type of thematics. So, of course, we have there an AI tutor to personalize the journey. We have today more than 60,000 students with more than 20 partners, but we need more. And we need to include more. Moroccan universities, yesterday the Secretary General told us that she wants to bring the network of African universities, so maybe we can bring them here inside with their entrepreneurial courses. And when we think about vocational training, we have another service inside UN Tourism that are the WhatsApp AI courses, because the vocational the people that work in vocational, the taxi drivers, the artisans, the people that works 24/7 in a hotel, they don't have neither a computer nor the time. So we decided to create inside UN Tourism courses for the member states where the people just need 10 minutes. So we create a partnership between Ministry, UN Tourism, plus, for example, the Association of Taxi Drivers, Association of Rural, or Association of Artisans, and through their WhatsApps, they're able to receive mentorship and courses, and after they finish the modules, they will be able to get a formal certification from UN Tourism plus the ministry. So today, we have these courses. So for example, for taxi drivers related to how to become tourism ambassadors and to do their job when they receive tourists in the airport. Communications, of course, family tourism, rural tourism, and food and beverage. So the next step, of course, as Her Excellencies mentioned before, is to start working together from Morocco to Africa. So after a survey that we made with our 51 UN Tourism African member states, we were focused on what are the real needs of the region and what we can do for them. So our program of work will start with regional startup competitions to empower the regional talent here, to create, of course, innovation forums like we are creating here today, so to connect investors, innovators, the academia, the whole ecosystem, as Imad mentioned, to create an acceleration program for African entrepreneurs as well, to help them not only to create new solutions, but to accelerate them and to help them grow. Of course, to create reports, insights, and trends related to Africa. And last but not least, of course, to participate in Africa in key innovation forums where UN Tourism can help, can add value, and of course can open new doors. So we are here for you. I finish with this. Then Antonio, our Director of Innovation, Education, Investments, will talk more about this. And And Elsie, our Director for Africa, will talk about the new startup competition. So thank you again for your trust. We are here to help and give us more work, more tasks, especially the innovators. We will be here super pleased to help and to collaborate together. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for all this presentation. And I didn't know that Morocco was leading for the startups in tourism activities. This also brings some confidence to the whole ecosystem. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to celebrate entrepreneurs. And this is the kind of situation and timing I really love. Celebrating entrepreneurs who innovate, because innovation is a kind of solving problems and bringing new solutions and thinking out of the box and giving new experiences to tourists. I would want, before knowing who are the finalists and the winners, I would want to have on the stage the three key personalities that made the opening session. Her Excellency, the Minister Fatim Zahra Amour, please, if you can join me. Her Excellency, the Secretary General of UN Tourism, Mrs. Anouais, please, and Mr. Imad Barakat, the CEO of Smith. Can you join me here, please? I would want you to give all the prizes and the awards to the finalists on this stage. So, it's time to discover who are the winners. I just want to remind that we had 175 applicants. I would want to say thank you so much to the jury. We'll have you on stage in a couple of minutes, because we cannot have this kind of result before the hard work that jury members do generally in this kind of exercise. And I know how it's not always very easy to make decision because it's a matter of emotion, because we have to rank them and we have to decide. Because at the end of the day, we need to have the first, the second, the third, and we need to have the first per category, and we had several categories. Let's discover all together. Are the entrepreneurs here? I don't hear them. Are the entrepreneurs here? Let's discover all together the 3 winners of the 3 categories here in Marrakesh today. Let's go. Congratulations to the 3 of them. And I want to also mention that we have the category of health and gastronomy, category of food information, and the category dedicated to digitalization of tourism services. We're going to start by giving the award to the category to Moroccan gastronomy. This award will be given by Mr. Khan. And I can journey, Habibik. Amin Baha. فرح مسعود امين. انا طلبت امين بها امين وبها امين فيصل. اوكي امين شنو هو المشروع؟
Chef Faisal Zahrawi. He is known for Moroccan gastronomy and reinvented Moroccan gastronomy. So I will just give him the mic in a second. I just want to thank the Ministry, Smith, and Unitourism for this program, and it has been an amazing journey to join it. So thank you so much.
No, because it's always important to have a selfie with the chef. It's gonna help some days. I don't know when, but it's gonna help. Congratulations. Stay with me here. Second award is given by the UN Tourism Secretary General to Ilyas Daki, founder of Osika. تفضل إلياس. I just want to mention that with the awards, they have scholarships for courses within the UN Tourism Academy. And knowledge, it's always something useful to strengthen and scale up the business. Knowledge feeds the business. Knowledge energizes the business. Yes. إلياس كنت عارف غتربح.
Not really صراحة لا.
شو المشروع تاعك؟
شنو ولا؟
المشروع.
مشروع. Alors so Mosika we do 2 things. أولاً we teach music online by connecting people who want to learn an instrument and people who can teach. And at the same time, we give experiences in person for tourists who want to know Moroccan, like music and instruments.
Oh, I would love to learn Gnawa. Is it possible?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna queue in front of your office. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Stay with me here. Come here, Ilyas. Come here. Shukran. The next award will be given by Her Excellency the Minister Fatim Zahra Amour, and I would want to mention that Shayma Lubnani is the winner of the category 1. Shayma, join me. You are the winner of category 1. Just 1 second, 1 second. But you are the winner of the whole categories. مبروك شيماء. What is beyond the map?
Beyond the Map brings the Moroccan heritage to life through technology, offering immersive, personalized experiences for travelers coming to Morocco, with a very specific touch point on women's security, helping explore also in all safety. It's a part of the Smith program that I really thank a lot of people here that have already met me before and accompanied me through this journey. Thank you for everything.
I just want to have one last question. Is that your current job?
Yes.
So you spend 100% of your time in this business?
Yes, I even hired 2 developers recently, just before coming here.
Oh, I love that. Congratulations. Wonderful. Wonderful. That's what I want to give as an illustration. Investing in tourism is not only investing in huge infrastructures. We need that. But we also need this kind of intelligence, bringing people together and bringing new ideas and scaling up. Yeah, the juries are very proud. I will ask all the jury members to join me on the stage, please. We're going to have a collective photo. Applause to the jury members, please. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your time. And I would want to get this opportunity, as we have the jury members here, to invite also the other finalists to have their awards. Can they discover who are the other finalists? They are here. I don't have the names. Can they join me here? Allez, j'ai besoin des finalistes. Come on. Malek? Malek? Awards for, what are the jury members here? تفضل. Okay. Photo. finalistes. تفضل. Pour la photo. OK. Malek. Les autres membres du jury. OK. Ladies first. Good. Les finalistes. OK. Je vous ai pas vu, Isé. Non, non, mais je plaisante. Allez, les finalistes, venez là. Encore, Malek, s'il te plaît, viens. Félicitations. Et tous ont les bourses pour pouvoir apprendre. Dernier. Sous vos applaudissements, s'il vous plaît. Merci. Je vais remercier tout le monde, sauf les 3 gagnants. Et la ministre, vous restez à nos côtés. La secrétaire générale et Ahmed Barkat. Tous les autres, je vous laisse retourner dans la salle sous les applaudissements. Merci. Ces 3 gagnants sont là. Il me manque une. Sheima, elle est où? Le secrétaire général, il est descendu. Je ne le vois plus. Le secrétaire général du ministère, il était là il y a un instant. Le président, Bentar, il est où? Il est là. Venez. Ah, c'est vous qui montez. Venez. Allez, on fait une photo. Ah, il est au téléphone. OK, on fait une photo. Félicitations aux gagnants, aux 3 gagnants. Congratulations. Mettez un peu de musique là en régie, qu'on les entende. Allez-y, allez-y, célébrez-les avec de la musique. Youssef, monte la musique. Voilà. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would want to ask you not to move from your seats. I will, because you noticed that we have very concrete and operational businesses and projects. I will just let the Minister, the Secretary General, and the CEO of Smith go to visit some of the booths of the stands and also visit some of the startups that are outside, only for maybe 10 minutes and come back. But we are going to start the first panel. The first panel is dedicated, let's go for the first panel, is dedicated to financial innovation in tourism sector, accelerating startup growth through business angels, venture capital, and support of strategic partnerships. And for the first panel, I would want to have the speakers, Mrs. Taryn Anderson, CEO and co-founder of Impulse for Women. Thank you for being here. Join us. Mr. Miguel Martin, President World Business Angel Investment. Mr. Naufal Fasifiri, Deputy Managing Director of 212 Founders. Thank you. This panel will be moderated by Mr. Peter Haxton, Senior Policy Analyst, Tourism Policy and Analysis Center for Entrepreneurship, SMEs, Regions and Cities at OECD. مرحبا بكم. Welcome. Peter,
This on?
is it okay for you? Wonderful. I will let you 45 minutes and get back.
45 minutes, okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And firstly, I'd just like to thank the Ministry of Tourism, Smith Morocco, and Eurotourism for organising today's conference on what is a critical issue for the sector, and also for inviting the OECD to moderate this panel discussion on financing innovation in tourism, accelerating startup growth through business angels, venture capital, and support of strategic partnerships. It's a pleasure to be here. Before hearing from our three fabulous panelists that we have with us today, I'll take a moment to try and set the scene for the discussion that will follow. Innovation is a key driver of competitiveness and resilience in the tourism sector, particularly as the industry adapts to rapid digital transformation, evolving consumer expectations, and global economic shifts. Startups are at the forefront of this transformation, introducing new technologies, business models, and solutions that enhance the tourism value chain, from travel planning and booking to destination management, all the way down to enhancing the customer experience. However, despite their potential, many tourism startups face significant challenges in accessing the financing needed to scale. Early stage funding gaps, limited access to venture capital, and insufficient integration into global investment ecosystems often hinder their growth. In this context, business angels, venture capital firms, and strategic partnerships play a critical role in supporting innovation by providing not only capital, but also mentorship, networks, and market access. At the same time, fostering inclusive and diverse investment ecosystems, particularly by promoting the participation of women investors and entrepreneurs, is essential to unlocking the full potential of innovation in tourism. Strengthening collaboration between investors, policymakers, and key stakeholders can help create enabling environments that support startup growth and promote sustainable tourism development. So within this context, this panel brings together leading experts from investment and entrepreneurship ecosystems to share insights, experiences, and strategies for financing innovation in tourism and accelerating the growth of startups. So with that, I'll ask each of our panelists in 2 or 3 minutes to briefly introduce yourself, your organization, and to provide your perspective on the topic of financing innovation in tourism. And perhaps we can start with ladies first. Tareen, over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much also for inviting and creating this ecosystem. Really incredible and very surprised. Well, I'm Tareen Anderson. I'm based in Barcelona. My background is coming from the private banking. Then I moved to a venture capital in 2016, called it THCAP. Today, by that time we were fundraising the second fund. Today we're on the 5th. And in 2017, we detected that there were very few women jumping into the entrepreneurship ecosystem, and also very few women investors. So we built up a nonprofit organization called Impulse for Women. It's a community of 13,000 women founders, co-founders at C-level, mainly European, America, and Africa. And we do have also 7,000 investors. Today, we create ecosystems since the beginning, from hackathons to the incubator programs, acceleration programs, and cohorts to teach how to start investing. That is also a very question mark. And well, we are also collaborating a lot with the European Commission through consortiums to build up these programs in different countries. And well, thank you very much for having us here.
Thanks, Tareen. Very, very rich and broad areas of expertise there, for sure. Norfal, perhaps we can hear from you next.
Yes, thank you. Well, thank you first of all for having us, and thank you for the organizers, Ministry and UN Tourism, for organizing this great event and bringing the attention to the tourism. So my name is Naufel, and I manage 212 Founders, which is the VC fund branch from the group CDG Invest. And we basically launched this VC arm about 5 years ago that we focused initially as an accelerator program and investment program in Morocco, because it was a very nascent ecosystem in Morocco for the past 5 years. And now we moved towards exclusively as investors. So basically, we are an early stage fund that invests actually in early stage startups from pre-seed, seed, and pre-series A, series A. And we, for the past 5 years, we invested in 28 startups globally with the Moroccan link. And we supported over 140 startups. So we not only supported startups, but also we invested in a few of them. We're also the only Moroccan VC who to date have made 3 exits in the past 5 years. So that sends the message that investing in startups can make profits. I'm very happy. We actually invest in travel tech. That's why we're here, innovation and tourism. So we have 2 startups in the travel tech, and we'll discuss that later on.
Thanks very much. And last but not least, Miguel, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself and your organization. Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for the invitation to UN Tourism and Smith and the Moroccan government. It's a pleasure to be here. Well, my name is Miguel Martin. I'm the president of the SDGs Science, Technology and Innovation Committee at the World Business Angel Investment Forum. We are partners of G20 Global Program for Financial Inclusion, and also am the funding curator of the Global Shaper Hubs in Seville for World Economic Forum. I'm also the founder of the Hispanic Arabic Investment Alliance. So regarding my relationship with Morocco, I'm coming quite often because I'm on the expert for ISESCO, the UNESCO Organization for Islamic Country in Education and Science, and Organization and Education. And also regarding tourism, and on the board of Impact Travel Lab, that is a VC from Netherlands, and Tourist Innovation Summit in Andalusia. So more than happy to be here and to share the experience with my colleagues.
Thank you very much. And I think it's clear after those introductions to everyone in the room, the breadth and depth of experience that we have here, and looking forward to the discussions. I have a few questions prepared to help guide the discussion today, which I'll pose to different panel members. But of course, we want this to be an interactive discussion, so if you feel like rebounding off any of the points made by anyone else in the panel, by all means do that. And if we have time at the end, we might also open the floor to questions from those in the audience, if that works for you. Okay, so perhaps we can start by getting all of your thoughts on exactly what role business angels and venture capital firms play in accelerating the growth of tourism startups, and how they differ in their approaches. And perhaps we can start with Miguel for this question.
Okay, so first of all, for people that maybe don't know, the main difference between angel investors and VCs is that angel investors invest our own money. So we are not managing third-party money. So that is the reason that it's more, how to say, a personal question about where I'm investing. The second difference is that angel investors normally or should not be only providing money, but providing the concept of smart money, meaning that to validate mentoring and guidance to the startup, providing the expertise and the network that they have in addition to the capital that they provide in the early stage of the startup. That is the third difference, that angel investors normally invest in ideas or in pre-seed MVPs, meaning minimum viable products for the startups that they are not still growing. And we are the pipeline in many cases of the VC, so we are not competitors, we are more complement.
Okay, excellent. And Naufal and Tareen, anything additional to add to that?
Well, I second that, because as a VC, we usually enter or invest after the business angels come in. So they as Miguel said, they're actually our deal flow builders, because we co-invest with business angels who bring us deals because they've worked with early on startups. They've de-risked the investments by working with the entrepreneurs on building that MVP and going to the market. And the VC funds are usually coming in to accelerate what has been proven already. Once the product market fit is there, because it has been proven, it's on the market. So the VC funds are usually used to accelerate or expand internationally.
Okay. And Tareen?
There is something that I want to explain because it's important here. It's like the life of a startup. When they start, the first investor that is approaching is a business angel. Normally it's a local, and they're living next to you and they're giving you advice, money. They, for sure, it's the most risky position because they never know if you're gonna grow and fly afterwards. And then is coming the venture capital. Venture capital, we are different between us as well. And everything depends on the ticket size that we're gonna give you and the maturity of the startup. Pre-seed could go and invest you when you are not even having a monthly revenue return. Seed venture capital, in general terms, they always want you to have your financials, and they're going to analyze you a little bit through the financials position. But if you go following on and you arrive to a Series A, then they probably were looking more the financials because your testing market of your product or service is already made up. So you have some tracking out of it. So it's important that here that we are different positions. I'm also a venture capital, like Mr. Nafwal Fassi. And I think you said that you were in different stages, no? And the difference between one and the other one is the ticket size, isn't it? If you can explain them a little.
Exactly. So the early investors, the angels, is basically when you're pre-seed and seed, so there are smaller tickets. And once you grow to Series A, and you look at all the due diligence and all the financials, and you're making revenues, that's when you increase the tickets, because the size of the ticket is allocated to how much you're building and what revenues you will be generating later on.
If I can make a short comment, I think that one of the trends in the future, or at least is my vision, is that angel investment network aren't going to move from being agnostic, so all sectors, to more industry focus, because the smart money and the expertise and the network is much stronger if the angel network is sharing common industry knowledge. For example, institutions like UN Tourism or Le Roche or other players in the tourism global ecosystem could play a very strong role in gathering these investors with a particular interest in investing in that particular field. Because normally, as Tareen was saying, the first angel investor investing in a startup is locally based. But if I have a tourist startup and my angel investor is from the farming or food industry, it's not going to provide me the maximum value that he could provide in case that he's giving me the mentoring and the guidance regarding the sector. So just to point out, there is a real opportunity there of involving the tourist industry players in becoming like an angel investors network on vertical focus.
And do angel investors, is it a long-term investment, or are angel investors more likely to take the dividend and get out relatively early?
Well, in general, I think it's a long-term investment. But it's true that when in the different phases of the fundraising, some of the angel investors try to make some liquidity with their investment. But in general, investment in startups is a long-term bet. Between you and me, very risky one, because the rate of successful startups that go to exit is only around 10 to 20%, and more than half of them, they will disappear in in the first 5 years of the life of the startup. And if I can make a very, very short comment about that, me personally, I think that many of the startups, for example, yesterday we see really great startups, and if I can give a recommendation to entrepreneurs, is focus on the problem. Focus in find a pain that is big enough and strong enough for dedicate 5 years of your life to a potential problem. So for more than focus on the solution, identify a big problem, identify who is going to pay for solving it, and that is the reason that we don't have the time today, but I think that there is a huge potential for venture builders or startup studios that focus more in the problem more than in acceleration programs that normally make a call and select the best startup from that call.
Excellent, and some free advice there for the entrepreneurs in the room, so which I'm sure they will all be taking down. Okay, so I think we can perhaps move on from that one, and I think it's clear that we are now living in what is a very fast-paced and at times uncertain environment that requires businesses to be flexible and able to adapt. So I'd be interested to hear what your views are on current trends in financing tourism startups and where are the most promising investment opportunities today. Maybe Tareen, we can start with you.
Well, actually, as Impulse for Women, as we are here since 2017, we are a little bit known in the market, so we are always receiving. Besides, as a venture capital, they are always coming from a reference of another startup, or normally it's coming from our co-investors from our portfolio of startups. Like we just share our knowledge. Oh, yeah, I saw this startup. What do you think? Do you like it? We're gonna put a little ticket. Exactly what they're doing also the business angels. So investors, we receive from LinkedIn, we review a lot. We are like, well, for the venture capital, I guess that 1,000 startups per year projects we receive. We only make due diligence of 80 and we invest in 4. And our investment process is only for the year 1, 2, 3, 4. When we are done, number 4, we are not investing anymore. The only thing that we're doing is making a follow-on on those startups of our portfolio that they're doing better numbers, okay? So how do we receive? Mainly is a referral or in events like those ones, is a networking, is a long-term networking. For those startups that you're now looking for business angel, you have to be in that places to meet them in person. It's a next step if you're doing like that. But besides that, those ones that they're not in your stage, it's important that you start to have a personal relationship because they will reference you another VC or someone that they know from one conference like here or from another friend that could be interested in your project. And this is a long-term networking run. So
networking is important,
yes.
Critical. Okay, Miguel, I was very impressed to see that you've evaluated over 1,000 startups globally, and I'm interested to understand, as part of your investment decision-making process, is the potential for innovation of a startup the primary factor or a key factor, and if so, how do you assess that?
Well, I have been, has been my main focus for the last 10 years. So the 1,000 divided per year is not so much, but in general, it's evolving. Angel investor, I think that the main criteria for investing is the team, or should be the team. Sometimes we invest more in the person than in the product. And because good entrepreneurs, even if they are not successful in the first project, you can continue with them because they become successful. In that, that's one of the reasons that I like, for example, investing in migrant founders, because they have the hungry and they really is the, how to say, they put everything on the skin on the game, because they are really they are changing their life, their family, and their community. For example, my last project is opening the first co-working incubator in Havana, in Cuba, And there is really quite interesting how these people that has been 60 years under the Cuban regime now is offering, how to say to you, opportunities. And in places like Syria, Ukraine, you have amazing entrepreneurs. Obviously here in Morocco, I have been quite in touch because I live in Andalusia, so for me it's very close and nice crossing the strait and coming here to Morocco. I think there is a lot of opportunities. So team KPIs right now is quite important. I think that the investment scenario right now is not so booming like a few years ago. There is not so much liquidity, so investors are looking not for ideas or PowerPoint. They are trying to invest more in the real projects, at least with an MVP. And another comment on that is that we are facing a real revolution about how to build these startups. With AI, building an MVP 2-3 years ago was taking months and was taking tens of thousands of euros. Now you can build startups in question of at least the MVP and validate and itinerate in question of weeks, I will say even days. And the minimum investment for validating an idea is only a few thousand euros. So that is something that is going to be increasing and increasing, and advice for the entrepreneurs: don't approach investors right now only with a PowerPoint, because with no code and AI, you can build very quickly a website or an MVP or very initial model, and you show something tangible, not just a PowerPoint idea.
Okay, excellent. And now, Nafal, where do you see the most promising investment opportunities today? Does anything stand out to you?
Yes, of course. I second what have been said. I guess what we're looking for when usually we're assessing startups to invest in, first of all, is the entrepreneurs, who they are, what background they're from, and how resilient they are. Resilience is, we've seen Moroccan entrepreneurs have a crazy resilience in terms of that. But secondly is what pain points are they resolving, and not in just one country, not just in Morocco. Because if we invest in a startup, it has to go global. It's a global market nowadays. Morocco is a great country to have a poke, as we say, a test. But you need to, if we invest in a startup, it has to replicate elsewhere and other markets that are similar to Morocco, or other countries that can come to Morocco. And that also is a crucial thing that we assess is in a startup is how global can it be? Can it go in terms of market?
So it's essentially those entrepreneurs that have identified a problem or a pain point, as you said, and how they can address it and how it can be monetized.
It needs to, as we say, is it a nice to have solution or must have solution? So when it's a nice to have, it's nice to have, but it's not something that we would invest in. But it's a must have. That means it's something that becomes crucial and will expand and have a great potential.
Okay. All right, let's move on to another topic. We all understand that access to finance is a challenge for many tourism SMEs, not just startups, but I'm keen to hear your thoughts on what are the main barriers preventing tourism startups from accessing funding at the moment. For example, recent work by the OECD Tourism Committee on using incubators and accelerators to support travel and tourism startups highlighted that in that environment, a strong dependence on public programs can often make the landscape sensitive to funding cycles, for instance. Naufal, with your extensive experience working with startups in emerging markets, what unique challenges perhaps do they face?
I guess the first challenge for startup is how soon can it go to the market? Because what we've seen, and we try to avoid that, is that entrepreneurs try to have the best possible product before going testing it, but it's never going to be perfect unless you go to the market. So you need to go, test, improve as you go. So finding the first client and the second one are key before even making any investment opportunity. I mean, even business angels, sometimes they would need to have that first return from the market. So I guess initial one on any entrepreneur here is don't waste a lot of time to make a perfect product, but develop and try to what problem you're resolving and just go to the market and improve as you go. That's my recommendations today.
And if you can get those first 1 or 2 clients, that's going to make your product a lot more attractive to the angel investors. And
exactly, because you're showing proof of concepts and you're showing that there's interest for your product.
Okay. Miguel, Tareen, any additional thoughts?
Just a short comment. When we talk about clients, we are talking about paying clients, because but many entrepreneurs came with what I call vanity metrics. We have so many followers in Instagram or Twitter, or that is not a real, value. Or clients that they are not paying because you are giving your solution for free, which is not bad maybe initially, but you have to really validate how many of these free clients are going to be really, in reality, free users are going to become clients paying for your service. And that is one of the most critical points in any startup life.
Okay, excellent. Tareen, anything to add?
Well, I just will repeat again the same. For us, the first reason why our startups in our portfolio are gone is because the team. The second reason is because the team. The third reason is because the team and the team and the team. I mean, you need to go to get the clients to prove that the product exists, there's a need, and then let's gonna see how you're building your own team. It's very difficult because it's a very tiny, thin line to survive, to don't have the perfect software out there and go to see the client. But if not, you can approach the client and say, hey, let's gonna try to potential client before you're going to see business angels. Like, hey, let's gonna make a proof of concept, a pilot, and then you can start to introduce, but don't stop the clients. And don't think that because you're talking to someone, it's like, how many probabilities to get funded in an investment? The average is 200 investors. Meeting with investors, it will be a return of 2%, which doesn't mean that 40% of your time have to be searching for investors at the same time that you have to be searching for clients and at the same time improving your project. It's a chaos. This is why the team is so important, to select the proper person to be next to you.
If I may add one point, I don't think there is a gap or an issue with funding startups. I mean, if you have a great project, you'll have investors from business angels, from VCs, everyone will be coming for you. So that's not, and today in Morocco, at least, I mean, with all the non-dilutive and the government incentives, there is a lot of money to go try to get there to pilot. You know, there are a lot of grants and that we need to prove that concept before you're talking to investors. And once you have a great product and you have a great team, the money will follow, the investment money, I mean.
A great product and a great team. I think that seems to be the key message for the discussion so far. Tareen, you mentioned before the important role of networking for startups to be able to get recognized, to start to make good impressions and participate in different, for instance, I guess, competitions like this to get known. But I'm interested to know, what role is there for strategic partnerships between startups, corporations, and public institutions to enhance access to finance and support scaling? Do you see those as being important elements for startups?
For sure it is, but depends, as we were talking, there's different phases of maturity, and the scale up is the ones that you really prove you have clients and you can start to grow in a horizontal way. I mean, not only 3 members or 4 members in the team, like when we receive that companies, and they have to be playing as a CTO, as a CFO, as a CMO, and the 3 people are more or less doing exactly, sharing a little bit, no? Once that they grow, they start to come more people under. And this is why you get the money, basically. Because when they are fundraising, it's 2 things, software and team. Is there 2 reasons why they want. those ones that they're scaling, there's a lot of startups that they're scaling and they didn't make revenues for the next 5 years. They just getting investment to burn it and to go for more clients and more clients and more clients. And business and venture capital is giving the money, just if they have a good strategy of going out to the market and grow to be the next unicorn, is how they did it.
Just a comment with that. I don't think that all the startups has to try to become a unicorn. There is plenty of space for startups that can generate employment for the funders, the society. So especially in what I call periphery ecosystems, when you are not in, say, London, Madrid, Casablanca, in places like in regions or province that they don't have so big ecosystem, it's very difficult for entrepreneurs and startup to become scalable to the level that will be like playing, we can say, the Silicon Valley game. But there is plenty of things that they can do for generating employment, wealth, locally and regionally. And I think that there is also room for that entrepreneurs, not only for the unicorn, how to say, aspirations.
And in those peripheral regions, is it more difficult, or perhaps it is more difficult, but is it impossible for them to get this global scale that was mentioned before? They need that startups today need to be global. Is it just as easy for them to do that from these peripheral regions, or is it easier if you're located in one of the major cities, for instance?
Well, I think that especially in tourism and other sectors, the role of SMIT or the role of the tourist government here in Morocco is important to selecting the best startups that maybe have the potential to become global players and helping them to go to international events and to get exposure to partnerships, investor clients. As I was mentioning before, not all the startups are going to reach that level, but the ones that had potential, I think the public authorities or the PPPs programs, one of the main roles is identifying these champions, local champions that can become global players.
Okay. Nofal, anything from you?
I wanted to add 2 points actually about networking that we discussed. The importance of networking is indeed crucial and important, especially at an early stage. But also, it should not be too much or too many, because again, execution is key. And when you're spending time going to and winning all the competitions and participating in any startup competition, etc., it becomes basically your serial pitcher versus serial entrepreneurs. So that's also, it's a signal that you would not want to, you want to avoid. So basically, participate, meet the right people, and then start executing and showing what you could do. So that's another thing that
if I can give a recommendation to Moroccan startups, I think that they have a very good point. First, they have Morocco is a strategic partner of European Union, and they should profit from all the programs that they are targeting to develop the MENA and especially Morocco. So they not only for developing the startup locally, but also to jump to programs in Spain, France, and other places. And the second opportunity I see for the Moroccan startups is the GCC. I have been collaborating with Hub 71 in Abu Dhabi, with Bahrain Tanking, with Mies Foundation in Saudi Arabia, with Qatar Development Bank. And all these players in GCC, they have some soft landing programs. Then in most of the cases, they don't ask to move the talent from Morocco to there. They are only requesting to send like a country director or somebody that is going to develop the market entity. So you have the Arabic culture and you have the money of the GCC that allow to them, the Moroccan startups to grow globally in these two potential ASICs.
Just 1 point.
Sure.
Usually we recommend going international. Doesn't matter what once you're already made your initial market and you're already proven the concepts and your product market in the original markets and you're break even in your original markets before expanding elsewhere. Because otherwise you're just you burn cash and less focus on what you're trying to execute. So go internationally. Indeed, it's important, but also ensure you break even in your current market.
And it sounds like Morocco is uniquely placed, I think, there to access the benefits of both the EU and the GCC. So that's very lucky for Moroccan entrepreneurs.
And especially here in Marrakesh, then they have GITEX Africa that was 2 weeks ago. And GITEX is a network of global events, but the mother event is GITEX Global in Dubai. So I guess that the startups that I have been a couple of times here in Marrakesh for GITEX Africa, not this year, but the ones that pick up, the ones that really become relevant in GITEX Africa, they should profit from that network to jump to GITEX Global in Dubai or GITEX Euro in Berlin and other places, because they already have that network and they have the event here in the hometown of Marrakesh.
Okay, so Morocco, but Marrakesh even more so. That's great news for local entrepreneurs. Tareen, I'll direct this question to you in the first instance, but of course interested to hear from Miguel and Norfal also. How can investment ecosystems become more inclusive, particularly in supporting women entrepreneurs and women investors in the tourism and tech sectors? And perhaps as part of your response, you can also reflect on whether or not there has been any progress in this area in recent years in your view.
Sure. Regarding women entrepreneurs, they realized that they can make it, that you can balance 24/7 is where you invest your time in a startup, but you can be at home, you can manage your calendar and to be working outside. And as an entrepreneur and being able to have a family. There's a lot of cases that people couldn't make it and other ones they can make it. But for sure, those ones that they can make it, they have resilience. So they're pretty strong moving forward. And then we have the other side of the coin. We don't have women in investors. And as a venture capital, I have been focused trying to bring women LPs. And I don't know if it's a matter of risk, if it's a matter of they think that they do not have knowledge, which you don't need to have a lot of knowledge, it's just to have some notions, because it's a fun, like putting in another place. You can go because the management is already controlled through people that really have experience, and you can ask it for, and it's a proof record. By the other hand, I think that also it has to be with a ticket size. Women are normally putting 5Ks, 10Ks, and the only vehicles that today they can jump into as an investor, it's going through business angels organizations.
Okay. And Miguel and Norfal, in your experience, have you come across any examples of good practice in this area for the promotion of women entrepreneurs and women investors?
Women entrepreneurs, we have invested in a great entrepreneur, for instance, who has actually developed a solution that we found great with a lot of potential. We're trying to bring to Morocco. It's actually to ensure a great experience, a fluid travel experience for a traveler. When you're traveling, when you're going to airport and you have those long lines for check-ins. So basically, the solution is digitalize that system, is that instead of having to go to the airport with your luggage, they pick up the luggage from your home or hotel in Paris, for instance, and you'll find it at the carousel on arrivals, and you go straight to boarding. That's with the whole digitalized solution, with that work with airlines and the airports. We're trying to bring that to Morocco, for instance, to work with locally. So, and it's a great entrepreneur woman. Anyway, go ahead, Miguel.
If I can make a very short comment. Statistics say that women entrepreneurs give and deliver better results than men entrepreneurs. So that is even from the numbers, we should bet in more women-led startup or more women entrepreneur. The second point, I have been mentoring for 3 years the UNDP Women Innovation Program for the Arab region, and it's amazing the women entrepreneurs you find from Mauritania, Morocco to Oman. Even in Syria, I have been mentoring some startups, and it's incredible that what they can do in these very difficult scenarios. And the last comment about women is that I think that there is inclusivity should not be only used for women. There is other difficult minorities that they are not involved in entrepreneurship, like people with disabilities. That in some cases, they can become really good entrepreneurs or rural to urban. Then obviously we should include to be more inclusive about people that is living not outside the capitals of the country. So I think that inclusive is good, but inclusive for all, not only for women.
Can I add something? Sure. Data is proven that only women teams are successful compared to men's, but the best teams are made of men and women and men. That's what data is proving. So just because we are approaching different perspectives through the way that we do business, and together we are the best ones.
Okay, so I've been told, I thought we had 5 more minutes, but we have 1 minute. So I'm going to ask this last question, and as quickly as you can. From the perspective of business angels and venture capital firms, what does success look like when it comes to investment and scaling of tourism startups? If anyone wants to answer that question, what does success look like from your perspective?
Okay, if I can make a final recommendation, is that public money that go to startups should not be a grant or subsidy, should be also an investment. It's not very clever, and sorry for being not politically correct, that governments give money to startups and don't take any result, anything back. If the startup is successful and make an exit, the government should receive the money the same than any other investor that can provide funding for the startup. That is something that I think that the governments are missing, that opportunity, not only obviously supporting startups, but if you are supporting startups, take a share in the startup. If the startup fail, no problem, it's risky. But if the startup is successful, why not take the money like any other investor and use that money for helping other startups in your community?
Okay, and a good point to end on, I think, there. So the key takeaways from me, I think, from today is that we need to have the right product to answer the right problem. We need to have the right team in place, and that team needs to be resilient. And with that, I'd like to thank you all for your time today.
Thank you very much. Thank you, all of you, for your time, and thank you for your insights. Miguel, I was always thinking that the state and the government always win, always gives money, whatever, even they have shares or not, because at the end of the day, they get taxes.
Yeah, it's true, but at the end of the day, what I see in many places is that our government are supporting startups.
Sure.
If they fail, they don't recover anything, obviously, like investors. But if the startup is successful, why not reinvesting that money in other startups
Sure.
in the ecosystem?
Thank you very much. Thank you, all of you. And thank you. Thank you, Peter, for the moderation. We're going now to have the second panel before moving to the last closing remarks. And this panel is dedicated to trends shaping the future of tourism, investment, innovation, and acceleration ecosystems. We have 4 panelists. Mrs. Afia Bobia Amanfo, Regional Director for Africa, Bridge for Billions. Mr. Carlos Diaz de la Lastra, CEO of Le Roche Spark Foundation. Mr. Folarin Iyekbusi, Head of Startup Ecosystem at Google. and Mrs. Mr. Noran Ansari, Chief Business Officer, Marketing. This panel will be moderated by Mr. Antonio Lopez de Avila, Director of Innovation, Education, and Investment, UN Tourism. Antonio.
Yeah.
45 minutes.
Okay.
And then be back a little bit before the end. Thank you very much for managing time and bringing great insights. Good luck, guys. Good luck, guys.
Well managed. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, wow. It's always exciting to be here to talk to a lot of young people doing great things, supporting new ideas in tourism, creating the tourism of the future, and having the chance of having these all wonderful people here. Google, Le Roche, Bridge for Billions, Maroc Telecom. I'm really thankful. I mean, this is a great honor. And I think that we are going to have a conversation. It's not going to be like question and answer. We really want to talk. We really want to share ideas among us and with you and sharing experiences. So I would like, firstly, to please introduce yourself and say, share with us what are you doing related to innovation, new ecosystems, because everything is changing so rapidly in tourism. I remember in 2012 when I started, I met Carlos in that time in Spain. We were working in innovation. We said, wow, everything goes so fast, change so rapidly. And we are still saying so. So everything is changing so fast, and new technologies are impacting in such a profound way in the way we do tourism, in the way we create the offer, in the way tourists travel, in the way we even think about the sector, the multidisciplinary part of the sector, industry related to another industry, and people, the talent, going from one point to another, because, I mean, we are doing things in a very different way. So please tell me, Florin, what are you doing in Google? How are you creating or supporting this innovative ecosystem for entrepreneurs in Africa? Because it's a very peculiar region. I know that there are some countries that are very advanced, some others, because Africa is not one Africa. It's very different areas, very different scenarios. So please.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon again, everyone. My name is Folarin Aegbusi, and firstly, I'd like to actually thank you for the honor and privilege of hosting me here today. I'm very grateful to be here. And to the question, I look after, or what we do with startups is we support, mentor, train, and fund them with non-dilutive funding. And we've done this for the past, at Google, we've done this for the past, specifically in Africa, for the past 9 years, supporting almost 400 startups, right? What we like to call the best of Google in terms of our people, our methodologies, and our advanced technologies. We run this through accelerator programs, incubation programs. Some, I think, pretty familiar with some of you. We even announced the class yesterday. The name for this is the Google for Startups Accelerator Africa program. But we've also had more contextual programs in the past, such as a Women Founders Accelerator program, an AI First Accelerator program, a Founders Fund, and most recently, 2 country-level programs like the Nigeria AI Fund and the South Africa Accelerator. Now, to the question on innovation, right, and what we're doing in the tourism space, I'm very ashamed to say, very, very ashamed to say that of the 400, or almost 400 that we've supported, only 6 come to mind when I think about supporting startups in the space of tourism, right? They vary from those that are offering, it's like very similar to what we saw with the finalists yesterday, was offering things like VR, so virtual reality experiences for travel, for example. We saw, which is an education aspect, we saw the mobility aspect, helping tourists better connect with local travel experience or local, I guess, mobility experience, for example, and much more. Again, just 6 of the 400, so it's not enough, but just from being in the room, listening to the conversation has helped me realize and understand that, you know what, we need to be doing more in this space. You see statistics like 10% of the GDP for North Africa, for example, comes from tourism. So you would expect naturally that maybe 10% of the startups we're supporting would, I guess, very similarly fall within in that sector. But so far, unfortunately not. But this is a very good call to action for us to actually do more in this space. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for data, because we love data. It's the only way you can measure the impact of what we do. So it's great. Please, Carlos, we are talking about entrepreneurs, we are talking about new technologies, and we need to talk about talent. And yesterday, when we were the jury, we saw talent. We saw young Moroccan talent. And we were really shocked about that, and we talk about it. You need to train talent. You need to give them the right tools and the knowledge so they can be innovative, so innovation leads to competitiveness. And in fact, we are creating the future through them. So please share with us what you are doing at Les Roches and this great initiative, Spark.
Thank you, Antonio, and thank you and congratulations to the United Nations Tourism, the Minister of Tourism in Morocco and Smith. These type of initiatives, they are the initiatives that we need to also prepare the people and the young talent to be capable to manage the situation that we are handling. Let me start with an experience that I have in the last years. You know, with all this type of massive pushing in the media about technology and artificial intelligence, I have a lot of interviews with journalists that come to me and say, okay, you are one of the 2 ranked universities in hospitality worldwide. Are you not worried? Because with this new technology, this artificial intelligence, look like the people would not be relevant, and you are training people. What will happen in the future with tourism? And my answer is very, very strong with these journalists and say, no, it's the opposite. It's exactly the opposite. If you see the trend of tourism is evolving more and more. And one of the reasons is because technology is giving more space for the humans to enjoy the time and work a little better and more efficient. And technology is not something that is confronting humans. And this is, for me, the most important message. And when we take the challenge, because obviously we were looking at the situation years ago, and with the challenge about the position of Les Roches, we are look like a very traditional university, Swiss university. And people were saying, okay, you are training people to how to interact with other humans. Now technology is coming here and it's taking your role. How you will prepare the leaders for the future to be capable to really make a difference in their companies? And the answer is even more important, the humans now with artificial intelligence technology than ever. We passed for 4.4 offers per students 4 years ago to 4.9 offers today. Companies, they are desperate. We are the best, highest provided talented university for Four Seasons, Mandarin Oriental, Louis Vuitton, Cartier, companies that they are focused to attend and serve in a good way the customer, the premium customer. And all of them, they come back to us to say the same. Okay, technology is a must. We need to put, and we need to take the advantage of technology to give better service and efficiencies to the company. But now I need more than ever professionals and managers that create added value on top of the technology. And this is the challenge that we have in Les Roches, and I will not cover more time. I will explain later what is the way that we are taking the challenge to help the managers and the people to marry it with the technology and give an extra value.
Thank you, Carlos. Ifya, thank you for being here. You came from Ghana, Bridge for Billions, and global NGO helping people to do the right thing when they try to be an entrepreneur. You have done a great job here with us, mentoring all the candidates. Thank you so much for that. We are also cooperating in Latin America. So we are doing a lot of things together, and so far, really good. You're super professional. That's why I would like you to share with us how you see all these young people, all these young entrepreneurs, how they manage to have an idea, and from idea or innovation to reality, how they're measuring the impact they are having in their local communities, in the society.
Thank you so much, and also congratulations to UN Tourism and the government of Morocco. I think such spaces is so critical because conversations around innovation, especially in specific sectors, need to be done with a combination of voices from both the public and private sector. So this is great to see. And to your question, Antonio, so just a bit of a background. What we do at Bridge for Billions is we work on two fronts. So on the first front is directly supporting entrepreneurs. We have, over the past 10 years, really come to believe in two things. One is entrepreneurship needs to be inclusive. So we need to support as many young people, as many entrepreneurs as possible. We need to support them with the right tools. We need to support them in the way that enables them to thrive in their businesses. And so that's one thing we aim for. We are always aiming for scale. How do we support as many entrepreneurs as possible? And how do we do it with the tools that enable them to thrive? Now, over the past 10 years of doing that, we realized the most effective way to do that is within very local ecosystems. Already in the ecosystem, there tends to be lots of fragmentation, lots of duplication, and in the current, financing, in the current ecosystem dynamic, especially when it comes to financing of programs, we still see there's a lot of duplication of programs. So the question we've been trying to answer is how do we bring efforts together so that we can achieve more impact with the limited resources for innovation programs. And so one of the approaches we've been taking is an ecosystem building approach where we invest not only in the entrepreneurs, but in the local business development support organizations who support entrepreneurs. So thinking of them as the local schools for the entrepreneurs. How do we invest in their capacity? How do we ensure their methodology, their standard, their approach is of the highest quality so that entrepreneurs are receiving the right support and they come out enabled to thrive? So back to your question, I think what we've realized over the years supporting 10,000 entrepreneurs to date across Latin America, Europe, in Africa, is there is not a shortage of talent, especially on a continent like Africa with so many young people. The challenge is the ecosystem support around them. So many entrepreneurs are not receiving the right support at the stage that they need it. And so there's a lot of hassle, there's a lot of figuring things out on their own. Even when they do go through a training program, the program ends, they are left on their own. How do they find funding? How do they connect to the market? How do they understand the regulatory hurdles in the sector that they are navigating? So we see a lot of these challenges that restrict the potential growth of these entrepreneurs. And the approach we are using now within the ecosystem model is how do we connect more to the public sector and work hand in hand with governments to streamline the process for entrepreneurs to grow their businesses. So yes, I think the talent is there for many entrepreneurs. There are lots of programs supporting entrepreneurs, but the coordination within these programs to create a pathway, thinking of it like the educational system, where there's a pathway from kindergarten to university, how do we create such a pathway so that entrepreneurs can really be
Creating the
enabled
spirit
to thrive?
of real entrepreneurial, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Noor, it's Morocco Telecom is the big operator. You are creating the network. You are investing in the infrastructure that we all need to work and to develop this new way of doing tourism, new technologies, digitalization, not only in cities, but also in rural areas. I mean, tell us about what Morocco Telecom is doing this in Morocco.
Thank you very much, Antonio. First of all, I'm really impressed with the energy in this room. The level of commitment seems amazing. And the topic is really nevralgic. It's a topic that hits directly on our GDP. First of all, thank you, Your Excellencies. Thank you, Mr. Barakad and his team for achieving this event. It's a pleasure for me to be here as a Chief Business Officer of Morocco Telecom. Maybe there are few points I want to share with the audience. Maybe here my colleagues here react to. The first point is piggybacking on Her Excellency's pitch about our ambitions and challenges. There is a huge growth. This growth will need to be funded, right? The reality of the ground is the main funder is the business owner. So this business owner, when I'm asking him to fund plus 20%, which is if I have 4 or 5 restaurants, open a new one, 4 or 5 hotels, 2 JEETs, open one, etc. He needs 2 elements that are very important. He needs to make sure he keeps getting clients and tourists in, and this is directly impacted by the experience he can provide. And that us as operators, digital players, solution providers, the government can help him achieve. The second element is he has a bottom line that he needs to optimize. So he needs to make sure this business is sustainable, and this is where digital comes to play. This is where digital solutions come to play. And I think this is the aggregation of the challenge to which technology comes as an answer. And I'll talk about innovation, but first, let's get the basics right. This technology is twofold. If you don't have connectivity, you don't have digital. So you need to tailor-make this connectivity to the needs of these people. In modern areas, say for example Marrakesh, which is 40% of our tourism assets, you want to have the best fiber, you want to have the best coverage, and we're investing quarter of our revenue into the networks to achieve that. If you're far, you want to have innovative areas, and you've seen that not only us, but everyone is trying to provide fixed mobile solutions that will be 4G, 5G, to enable that JEET in the mountain or that small Airbnb somewhere to welcome tourists and show them the beauty of our kingdom. And I think the second part is, once you have that, you need to have some basics, whether you are a hotel, a restaurant, a travel agency, you need to have some sort of Wi-Fi, and ideally managed. You need to have that Wi-Fi that is for guests and for staff and tiers of guests, etc. You want to have a website, you need to have that, and you need to host it somewhere. You need to have some security for your laptops, etc. We've seen some issues with security, so you need to stay secure. But then most importantly for your sustainability is you need to have the right digital tools. Some of them seem today traditional, some more modern, to manage this business and make it efficient. We're thinking about basics, Microsoft tools, Google tools, Zoho. We've launched Zoho.
Artificial intelligence
intelligence, inshallah, in the near future, but some basics, a mini ERP to do your basic stuff. And I see a huge opportunity here because I'll maybe say 2 words about the innovation and how I see it. So I come from an experience of Europe, Middle East, Emirates, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Riyadh before coming back to my lovely home. I think innovation happens at 2 levels. There is the Silicon Valley level, and this is where you have 80% blue ocean, and there is enough capital and talent density to achieve that. In smaller markets, you want to have really deliberate innovation. And I would say it frankly, it needs to be very pragmatic, it needs to be implementable, and it needs to have a case. And this is where large players like us and our peers and public players as well can partner. We believe a lot in PPP, into directing that innovation, right? Directing it and sharing value with also the talent. And this is a very important point because the talent happens in startups. My last point maybe is just about Maroc Telecom. As a CBO, we take care of every size of businesses and every size of government entities. Alhamdulillah, Maroc Telecom is, maybe not everyone knows, but is a continental telecom leader and ICT leader in 11 countries. But also something less people know is that we are more and more leveraging our group, which is Etisalat in UAE. That is one of the top 3 in reputation and quality, one of the top 10, 15 in the world, to bring that to Morocco. And then through our continental operator aspect, we can make Morocco an exporter of innovation. And I want to be very precise about deliberate, implementable innovation. Because I was leading a venture builder in Abu Dhabi named Ingenious in the Mubadala Tower, I know that in blue ocean innovation is very hard. You need density of talent and density of capital. So the dogma today is to be very pragmatic. Last week there was a SIAM, which is on another industry, the agriculture, and we had some startups as partners. But these are very pragmatic partnerships with startups to say, I can be the channel for that innovation at scale for Morocco. And this is really the paradigm that I advise about. Today we are a partner of this conference. It is our absolute privilege, and we wish to double down on the public-private partnership to do whatever we can to achieve the vision of His Majesty and support the leadership of Her Excellency, her team, and also Smith and their team.
Thank you for your words. You have mentioned something that it's different industries. Folarin, you are dealing with all kind of sectors, and we are talking about tourism, and we know tourism is a powerful tool for development. How do you see tourism when you see a tourism project arrive to Google? How do you see it? I mean, do you really believe in tourism as this powerful tool of development, of generating benefits, of game changer? Or you think it's a kind of secondary industry? Because sometimes, and we know what we work in tourism, we know that sometimes people from out of this sector think that this is kind of secondary. The industry of happiness, yes, but people don't think about the economics of tourism and the potential creation of jobs. So how do you see it from Google?
Sure. The first thing I'd like to say is we don't see any sector or vertical as secondary. You see that as an entrepreneur, it's a very big thing for anybody. It's almost madness for anybody to decide to not work in full-time employment and work from 8 to 6 or 9 to 5 and decide to be an entrepreneur and work 24 hours round the clock is the first thing. The second thing is for them to then chase a space that is not popular, like the financial services where all the money goes to, right? Or education or healthcare or mobility. It's a very big deal. So we cannot see that as secondary. We see that as there's a reason this person has decided to chase this area, and the numbers speak for themselves, right? When you think about the GDP contribution and much more, we take them very seriously. The conversation or the challenge we've had historically is that not enough people, right, are looking at that space, or the space of tourism, right, or hospitality. That's where the biggest of issues has been. For every time we open applications for our programs, we receive, I'll give an example. We launched a program. We launched a class yesterday, 2 days ago. We received 2,600 applications for that class from almost 30, 40 countries, right? Not just on the continent, but outside of the continent as well, for the diaspora that are looking to come back to the continent. Now, from what I remember, of the 2,600 applications that we received, I'd say less than 0.5% would have come from the tourism space, right? That's where the first challenge comes from, right? And when you think about the reasons why, it's because on one hand, people that show are building for passion, but they also build where the money is, right? So you build for where majority of funding has gone historically, which is again, the fintech, health tech, ed tech, in Africa anyway, right? So back to the conversation of, again, tourism and the space of tourism on the continent. I think also before I go into the last thing, sorry, what I'd also say is that when you think about the stages of these businesses or of these startups, it's a lot of them are super early, right? And there's a nice chicken and egg situation for these startups, for these businesses. It's on one hand, the investors are asking, and that's part of what the conversation was in the last panel. The investors are saying, go and get customers and then come back and ask us for money. But the startups are saying, oh, give us money so we can finish building, and then we get customers. It's a chicken and egg situation, and then we never land on which one actually comes first, right? But the problem there in that as well is that because they cannot grow to a certain level, because they don't have traction or PMF, product market fit, or any validation, it's hard for us to also then select them for our programs, which is where the challenge then happens. That's why it's really amazing to see when governments are backing certain industries, when they're saying, look, we'll give you the first proof of concept, your first funding, maybe your first check. We will, in some instances, even use you, would promote you and use you, right? When they start to do that and they equip them, then we have other players like the 212 and the rest that can then equip them with the necessary skills to go from that ideation to operation, to take them from just passion holders to actually understanding that because you're in the tourism space does not mean you neglect other aspects of business. What does the corporate governance look like? What does the financial look like? What does the marketing look like? What does the sales aspect look like? What does building a team look like? What does technology look like? So they help train them and equip them with the initial level of acceleration, and then they come to us and say, you know what, our product makes sense, our technology is good, our people are decent, how do we scale? And then we say, look, we have the infrastructure to help you scale, and then we connect them to the resources to scale, but not just that, to funding in some cases, but also then to fellow founders, understanding that the entrepreneurial journey in itself is a very lonely one, right? Even more so for those that are in very niche spaces, right? So then we think about how to help them scale. Again, I mentioned that only 6 businesses of the almost 400 that we've supported have been in this tourism space. I looked before this panel, I went and looked and I saw that unfortunately, 2 of them no longer exist, right? For context. One of them shut down just after COVID, and I realized something, you know what? If there was a little more push, if there was more support, this business would probably be, again, I'm not talking unicorn, but it would probably be very big right now. And that is the issue of this chicken and egg situation and of the issue of the likes of us supporting them. But in this same conversation, you see that, again, startups all face the same issues, right? Access to funding, access to markets, talent, and then the last one is favorable policy and the regulatory landscape, right? The funding piece, I guess if they get to a certain level, if they make it to a certain level, we're happy to support them, right? Access to markets, that's where I tie that in this tourism space to the regulatory landscape as well. You cannot build for, as someone said in the last panel, you cannot only build for one small market or one market, right? Tourism is a phenomenon that is experienced globally in every country, right? Maybe more in some than others, if anything. But we saw businesses yesterday, we saw the winners today. How can we scale some of these, whether it's gastronomy, how can we scale that from Morocco to the rest of North Africa, to the rest of Africa, to the Middle East, to the rest of the world? How can we scale that? If we cannot do that because there's different regulatory landscapes between country to country, then what are we talking about here, if anything? The last one is the talent piece. We see the work of the universities, the UM6P and the likes, but we also realize that it's more than just understanding technology. It's then the tenets of business, and then we need more players willing to bet on these or invest in these startups, invest knowledge in these startups to actually help them firstly survive and then scale.
Absolutely, it's knowledge, skills, money, good ideas, and the creation of this environment that is good for them. Sometimes it's related to rules, I mean, to the own governments. The governments need to create or to support this. They have to be facilitators to create this. Laroche, Spark, please share with your experience, because I mean, you're doing a great job within the hospitality sector, but even further beyond that.
Thank you, Antonio. It's very interesting what we're speaking here, and I really like when Her Excellency, the General Secretary of the United Nations, speak in the introduction to say the emotion, the human connection is really what is making the difference. And when we take the challenge to say, okay, we are one of the top universities, we need to, all people is looking what is the next step to how to support the young people to manage successfully this new challenge in tourism. We said, okay, how we can train really the people to be capable to manage all this super fast movement in technology, but because when we train a student that is with us for years, in 2 years, the technology that we're training to manage is fully different. The scenario is fully different. How we can really prepare the people to be leaders in the industry, making value? And the answer is we need to change the mindset and the attitude of the students and the professional about the technology. And that is very difficult because it's not putting a teacher in front of the classes to making a speech or even showing some model cases of business cases, because in 2 years, 3 years, there are no relevance for them. And the Spark project, the Spark Foundation is playing this role. We need to play the role in the middle between the industry, the leaders in the industry in technology and the leaders in the industry in tourism. And we need to really give value to both of them to understand how to connect this technological side with the human connection side, that the life of experience that we have in the industry.
It's a new mindset, isn't it?
Fully new
It's
mindset.
a new mindset.
Fully new mindset. And it's really difficult to do because to train change of attitude and mindset is the most difficult thing. This is why the intention of Spark project is instead to teach the students in the classroom, we put the students in the ecosystem of the companies of technology and hospitality to support both of them to make the process. Because when the students is interacting with the people that is creating the technology and understand their mindset, how they build the technology, how they think, and at the same time, they are looking and helping this ecosystem in tourism to implement this technology, when they finish and graduate with us, they are fully prepared to at least be brave to approach the projects and give value to the companies. And it's very interesting because I receive a lot of advices, and in my board, I have a lot of pressure from my board to say, Carlos, you are one of the leaders, you need to really take the technology because now all the companies, all the universities, they are changing for online process, 3D, virtual technologies. You need to change and you need to do all online, virtual technology. I say, no. I take the decision to do the opposite. I say, no, we need to do the opposite. We need to really train the managers to give a super extra value, leading teams to connecting people, because the technology will put all the rest.
Change every day.
All the rest. And this is the big challenge. And when the other day I was with a CEO of one company, and he told me, I can perceive also who is coming from your university even before to really interact more with them, because they are approaching the projects with this type of human touch, that understanding the empathy, how important it is to connect with the people, but at the same time they have this, how it's called, intra-entrepreneurial attitude, to be brave, to challenge all the processes and all the things, to consider if the technology should be useful or not in this side.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Afia, I think that you also are working on the mindset of entrepreneurs globally. And how do you see it? I mean, they need to be flexible. They need to be they need to do research all the time to be prepared for what is coming. We know that the technology is changing rapidly. We were talking about blockchain a few years ago, and then virtual reality, augmented reality, and now we are with AI. And if you don't know how to manage AI, you are out of the market. You're nobody, because you really need that. How do you see that? How do you manage to create this new mindset in the young people and people you're training?
Yes, very interesting. So, as Flora said, the entrepreneurship journey is challenging, and it's very lonely. And many entrepreneurs navigate on their own. But what we've also realized recently, because we used to run programs for entrepreneurs from different sectors, in the past 5 years, we've realized the importance of running very sector-specific programs for different reasons. I'll give an example of what we are doing in healthcare, for example, and agriculture. Well, in agriculture in Africa, we have prioritized agriculture and healthcare. So similar to Flora, I checked our data and realized out of the 10,000 entrepreneurs we supported, less than 2,000 are in a broad, tourism area, travel, food, very broad. So I think if I narrow it down, it's going to be really few entrepreneurs. But for us, agriculture in Africa was interesting because of the potential for job creation, but we also realized many young people don't see the potential. They have this idea of agriculture and the entire value chain, which needs to change. And we wanted to introduce a more innovative approach mindset to young people. So we run these programs, we walk them through an innovation-based approach. We show them examples, models of what successful young people are doing in agriculture, and we are hoping to change the mindset around agriculture in general so that we can get more young people creating innovative solutions across the whole value chain. And I think possibly there needs to be a similar approach when it comes to tourism. With healthcare, for example, the approach we've taken, not only focused on health tech, which tends to be one of the favored sectors in Africa, but healthcare in general. We started off by conducting research with Strathmore University to understand where were the gaps, where are the challenges specific to healthcare entrepreneurs, and how does a healthcare program address those challenges. And so creating this very specific program with the soft skills, the mindset skills, as Carlos was saying, that is specific to entrepreneurs navigating healthcare, which comes with a lot of regulatory hurdles, a lot of testing that needs to be done, just quite a challenging sector. We've seen the impact it has on the entrepreneurs. And so I think for us, starting with every sector is understanding, are there peculiar challenges in this sector, and are there specific soft skills entrepreneurs need to build? Is there a specific mindset that needs to be overcome for them to grow in this sector? And then integrating, possibly finding mentors who are skilled in that area, who have those insights. So probably Carlos will be reaching out to learn more about how you are navigating that. Yes, and building, translating also those curricula to the local business development organizations we work with.
Thank you. We are talking about people, about skills and talent, and we need to prepare them. But of course, technology is there. So I know that Maroc Telecom is offering a lot of very good services to the clients, and you are part of this Digital Maroc initiative. So you're supporting micro SMEs in Morocco and other countries to incorporate new technologies to digitize what they are doing. Yesterday, we saw a lot of very deeply techy projects. They were using AI, virtual reality. I mean, everything is there, but without you, without what you provide, that's impossible. So which kind of services are you providing? How do you see, or how do you foresee the future?
Thank you, Antonio. Look, I mentioned some of them. So the connectivity ones are the ones that help you have the right throughput to have all these great experiences in your whatever business in tourism. But the layer after that, we talked about being a sustainable company. You have to modernize. No matter how small you are, the more you use digital tools, the more efficient and compliant you will become. Compliant with regulations, for example. You need to do your taxes. You need to do your HR management, starting from a very few number of employees. So these are the basics. Now, I would love to talk about the things that go beyond that and that change the game, which are the things that would be in the realm of ventures. And as I said, I was a little bit extreme in my statement, saying innovation, blue ocean innovation should be the 20%, 80% should be directed innovation. What I mean by that is, as you see, entrepreneurs, they look for capital, they look for mentorship, but basically they look for direction. And we believe deeply that PPP, which is something that can shape those pockets of direction, can orient where those 2, 3, 4 national champion startups can be well-funded and well-mandated. Let me give some examples. Loyalty, for example. We have a tissue of, or a fabric of small and medium businesses that could have a branded, nationwide sponsored loyalty program. Imagine a Bonvoy that covers everyone that is not Marriott, that is very small. These kind of things can hit directly on the P&L of those organizations, the experience of the tourists, on the stickiness of the tourists coming back to Morocco and to these places, and change the game. And this is why PPPs that would choose that as a pocket of investment would orient that value. Other examples, just to cite them, is quality. We could have marketplaces, 2, 3 national startup champions, deliberately supported to develop that, because this will hit directly on our scoring of service providers' quality, or, for example, through tools for inventorying, private hospitality scoring, these kind of things, across the kingdom. And you will have one of those 2 or 3 that will become a national branded champion serving the kingdom, and then we can export it to the continental 11 countries or more countries that look like Morocco in terms of people that visit them. And finally, we can think about, look, I'll give you a very simple example. In Dubai and in the Middle East, they have that QR code on the table in the restaurant. This drops immediately the stuff you need in the restaurant room, which means if I'm a business owner, that money, if I have few restaurants or I am very efficient, I can open another restaurant and I can be ready for the 20% or 15% growth of capacity expected from me and from my kingdom to have the best experience. So those are pockets of areas that PPPs can put a spotlight on to have those 2 or 3 startup champions deliberately funded at the right moment and at the right place. Not to mention big events like FIFA and so on that are coming.
Okay, thank you. One final thought, because we are running out of time. One final thought, few words, please. How do you see the future?
Yes. Okay, thank you. I think very quickly, you see, when you think about travel, everybody wants to travel to Japan to learn how to be a sumo wrestler, right? You want to travel to Paris to learn how to make pastries, right? Before we talk about technology, we talk about identifying cultural niches. So what are the cultural niches for Morocco, right? So let's identify them. I think we already have identified like the couscous, like Her Excellency said. We think about the cultural niches, and then we think about digitizing around the experience around these cultural niches. Then you see progress. Then we see growth and innovation.
Okay, thank you. Carlos.
Very quick. I think we need to consider technology that is something that is here to help us to connect even better between each other and give more value to what we can do as a humans.
Okay. Efia?
I'll say more public-private partnerships in specific countries across the entire spectrum for entrepreneurs.
Thank you.
I love that last thought. And I would say that what matters in all this innovation and technology is to make sure a maximum number of businesses is connected and sustainable through digital solutions to provide the best experience to people that visit us. And from there, the story can be built into exporting, replicating, and scaling.
Okay, thank you very much for your thoughts, for sharing your knowledge, your experiences, your life, what you do every day. And I would like to welcome all these new entrepreneurs that yesterday were finalists and winners, because they are now part of the Global Innovation Network of UN Tourism. We will give them support. We will put them in contact with investors, with industry, with destinations, trying to have an impact. And so that's what we do. So thank you so much.
Antonio.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And before, Antonio, just before leaving the stage, allow me to bring this last question you asked to the panelists, to you. How do you see the future?
I see a bright future for tourism while we gather and we talk and we have to create the future together. And we need people. We need the right people to do it.
I love it. Thank you very much. Let's design the future together. Thank you very much. Thank you, all of you. Yeah, it's really important to see the future with an optimistic mindset in a world of chaos. And it's done by humans. Let's move now to the launch of the new innovation competition, and the host on the stage, Mrs. Elsia Granco, Director of Regional Department for Africa, UN Tourism. How are you? Yes. Please.
Excellence, Madame la Ministre, Excellence, Madame la Secrétaire Générale de l'ONU Tourisme, Directeur Général du SMIT, invités distingués, Mesdames et Messieurs, I'm really extremely pleased to be back here in the beautiful city of Marrakesh. But I was also equally pleased to have had the opportunity yesterday to experience in one day the beautiful and green city of Rabat, thanks to the Minister and also the Director General of SMIT. So I really appreciate that. I tend to think that today I have the easiest task, but also the most exciting one. And that is to announce the launch of the new innovation competition that the Minister and the Secretary General alluded to this morning, which is the Morocco Rural and Community Tourism Investment and Innovation Challenge, an initiative that has been jointly developed with UN Tourism and the team from SMIT. This competition reflects a shared vision to support tourism models that create value not only for tourists and visitors, but above all for local communities, rural entrepreneurs, women, youth, and the destinations themselves. At a time when travelers are increasingly seeking authentic, nature-based, and community-driven experiences, rural tourism represents a major opportunity for inclusive growth, cultural preservation, and sustainable development. At the same time, as we are all aware, that rural communities continue to face important challenges, from limited access to finance and markets and infrastructure gaps, digital needs, and climate vulnerability. So, through this competition, we aim to identify and support innovative solutions that can help address these challenges while unlocking the full potential of rural destinations in Morocco. This competition is structured around 3 key pillars, and that is planet, people, and prosperity. It will reward initiatives that contribute to environmental sustainability and climate resilience, empower communities through inclusive participation and benefit sharing, as well as strengthen the competitiveness and scalability of rural tourism economies. So therefore, dear friends, we are particularly pleased that this initiative will open opportunities for startups, MSMEs, cooperatives, social enterprises, and community-based organizations that are already working to shape the future of tourism in a more responsible and impactful way. Therefore, the selected participants will benefit from visibility, mentorship, access to the UN Tourism Innovation Network, also the opportunity to present their solutions at the final event. The competition is therefore not only a call for innovation, but also a call for partnership, creativity, and action in support of a more resilient and inclusive tourism sector. And to introduce the initiative, I invite you to follow with me a short video. Thank you and shukran.
The fire is still warm. Bread is passed by hand. Stories are told as they always have been, not performed, just lived. This is the future of travel in Morocco. Travel is changing. People want more than to see. They want to connect, understand, belong. Beyond the cities, in rural communities, that future is already being shaped. But unlocking its full investment potential takes more than attention. It takes innovation. UN Tourism and SMIT present the Morocco Rural and Community Tourism Investment and Innovation Challenge. A call for solutions grounded in rural areas, built for the future. Planet. Protecting and restoring, safeguarding water, biodiversity, and building climate-resilient destinations. People. Putting communities at the center. Creating investment opportunities for women and young people, and ensuring value is shared fairly. Prosperity. Turning local ideas into sustainable investment models, connecting rural experiences with investors. Join a global network. This is your moment. Bring your idea to life. The next chapter of tourism in Morocco is not something to visit. It is something to be built.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mrs. Elsia Groncourt, for this opening this new window. We have to draw it all together, to build it all together. Thank you very much. Now we're going to move to the last step of our conference and have the closing remarks. And after the closing remarks, I would propose to have a collective all together with all the participants photo on the stage. if you agree on that. I would love to have you all with me here. For the closing remarks, I will start with Mrs. Natalia Bayona, Executive Director, UN Tourism, please.
Dear Excellency, Secretary General, Minister, my dear Imad, we're ready. I feel that today we have been discussing from venture capital, entrepreneurship, corporates, the academia, governments, institutions, and Elsia just mentioned. So just to end, we want to thank on behalf of the UN Tourism family to be here, for the trust, for the commitment, and of course, to invite all the innovators that are here to apply to this rural competition that will be the tipping point, because at the end, that's another of our main priorities. That's another of the main priorities of the Secretary General, to scale up and to go beyond when it comes to rural development. So all the ones that knows an artisan, that knows people that are doing crafts, fashion, building routes connected to technology or social innovation, we are here. So Antonio, if in this case we receive 175, let's task to double the number of startups that we will be able to receive. So thank you again.
Thank you very much. This is a huge objective. We're going to work on it. Thank you very much. And the last but not least, the President of National Confederation of Tourism, Mr. Hamid bin Tahar.
Your Excellency Minister, dear friend Fatim Zahra Ammar, Your Excellency Secretary General, Madam and Sheikh Al-Nawais, it's an honor and a pleasure to receive you in Morocco. On behalf of all the ecosystem of private sector of tourism, I would like to tell you how proud I am to see that ideas become real impacts. We've been here in this room last year thinking about how can I start this kind of collaboration, and we have seen today the results of this, of the impact of this collaboration. So I would like to say to all the teams from the Ministry of Tourism, from Smith, from UNW, UN Tourism, that made it possible, on behalf of all the Moroccan ecosystem, thank you very much. Because collaboration is the new innovation, and you have proved it. So please, big round of applause for all of them. I would like also to say that the event of yesterday, that you, Excellencies, realized one of our dreams. We've been dreaming since a long time ago. We've been discussing about the opening of this UN office for Africa in Morocco for many years, and finally it's there. So I would like once again to tell you that we are proud to host this office, and we as a private sector will be at your supporting you and to make it a successful one, because we believe that this land is a land of permanent renewal, is a land of inspiration. It's been a land of celebration for decades. And I loved your introduction talking about storytelling. I'd like just to share with you maybe a few stories. The first one concerning how this amazing city started. The story says that it's an entrepreneur in rural tourism who made it possible. Marrakesh started with a gardener who have seen travelers passing by and decide to transform a desert of stone into an oasis to take care of travelers. That's how it started. Then came a lady that her name is Zainab Nafzawiya. Zainab al-Nabzawiya decided to make this city the capital of the kingdom. And this also shows that tourism, hospitality, taking care of people, there's the ingredients for entrepreneurs, the ingredients for innovation and for new solutions. We can, let's say, have a look in the Atlas Mountain and we're gonna find a lot. I'm sure that you're gonna have more than 150 projects. I can confirm that you're gonna have much more, plenty of entrepreneurs in the rural tourism, in the Atlas Mountains, in the deserts, in all the villages around our main touristic cities. Need this kind of partnerships, this kind of collaboration, and this kind of support. So on behalf of all of them, I would like to thank you all for the people from UNW Tourism in terms of trainings, in terms of all the programs that can support. And I've received a lot of messages from the Morocco travel tech ecosystems asking me to make sure that all the panelists will come during the year and will find a way to collaborate together to make sure that we connect both private sector ecosystem with you guys. I would like to finish with a small story, if you allow me. It's 3 minutes. This is a story because this is, at the same time, it's an invitation. We have in Marrakesh, Mawsim al-Hikayat. That will happen 24th to 27th of January. You are all invited. This is an amazing event because last year we put Morocco and Marrakesh as in the Guinness Book, a record. We had during 7 days a flame in Jamal al-Fna Square. Day and night, storytellers have been from 80 different countries telling story, and the fire was burned 24 hours a day during 7 days. We put this record, stories about travel and joy, because the joy is the second name of Marrakesh. We call it in history Marrakech el-Beja, and we put Marrakesh on the map as the world record and as a destination of storytelling. So please note it in your agendas. 23rd, this is of January, the Marrakesh International Storytelling Festival. This festival celebrates universality and the ancient art through 7 days and exchange of cultures, hospitality, with hosting storytellers from all around the world. So the last story I wanted to share is one of the stories I've heard last year. And I will try to say it in English because the story was in Arabic, but I would like to make sure that everybody would follow. And so let me share it with you. Ladies and gentlemen, in our culture, we believe that God created this land and the whole universe in 7 days and 7 nights. He first created the man and told him, man, you're gonna live 20 years. 20 years of happiness, 20 years of joy. Then God created the donkey and told him, donkey, you're gonna live 40 years. 40 years at the service of man. You're gonna carry his goods, you're gonna be his slaves. The donkey turned to God and said, 40 years of slavery is too much for a small donkey like me. Can I live 20 years like a man? At that time, God said, why not? You can live 20 years. The man turned to God and asked him to take over the 20 years of the donkey. Dan told him, God, man, you're gonna live 40 years. Then God created the dog and told him, dog, you're gonna live 40 years. You're gonna be the man's best friend. You're gonna protect his family, his house, his goods, and you'll be his best friend. The dog turns to God and said, 40 years of open eyes is too much for a small dog like me. Can I live 20 years like the donkey? Done, told him God, you're gonna live 20 years. Again, man asked to take over the 20 years of the dog. Done, told him, mercy, man, you're gonna live 60 years. And for the end, God created the monkey and told him, monkey, you're gonna live 40 years. 40 years, you're gonna amuse the man, make him laugh. You're gonna be sometimes his friend, and you're gonna make him enjoy some moments. At that time, the monkey turned to God and said, 40 years of solitude, 40 years is too much for me. Can I live 20 years like the donkey and the dog? Dan told him, God, donkey, you're gonna live 20 years. And to finish, the man again asked to take over the 20 years of the monkey. So according to this story that the wise man during the last year storytelling festival, men live in average 80 years. 80 years that only 20 belongs to him at first. 20 years of joy, of youth, of happiness. 20 years that belongs to the donkey. 20 years of work, of efforts, carrying his goods, taking care of his job, if ever he found one. 20 years that belongs to the dog, trying to protect what he earned, trying to protect his goods, to protect his kids, if ever he had some. And the last 20 years, the 20 years of grimace, how you say grimace in English? Of mimics. 20 years what it start to shake. This is the last years. This is the solitude of the end of life. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to wish you, while you are doing your entrepreneurship, work very strong, very hard, put a lot of effort, but don't forget to enjoy. Life is so beautiful. And sorry, I've just tried to share with you what I've been sharing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hamid. Thank you very much. But it's a lovely story. It's a lovely story. I just was afraid because of time. I was managing time. I was afraid counting how many kind of animals we have on earth and trying to see how long could be the story. And I was thinking, oh my God, I can understand. This man is doing the 7 days hikaya in Jamal Fna and can make it. Ladies and gentlemen, the head of tourism in Morocco. This is a good sample and great ambassador, my friend Hamid Bentar. Big applause, please. Yeah, I love that because it's a matter of bridging people, connecting people by stories. This is what humans can bring to humanity. Keeping talking, keeping connecting, and that's wonderful. I would want to, before having this wonderful collective photo with all of you with me here on the stage and with the personalities we have here, let me just share one last information about a new initiative between Smith and Maroc Telecom that they join effort and have making some synergies to support tourism initiatives and innovation for startups. So they are going to work together, have an agreement, and work on that. And I hope this synergy can maybe help even for the next competition next year and see some results and great impact for the rural side of the country, because we need to work all together, even the rural and the urban sides of the country, both of them. And before having the photo, let's see some images about Maroc Telecom and the innovation.
Since 1907, Maroc Telecom has been building connections, from the very first signals to the network shaping our lives today. A signal, an energy, a flow of data in constant motion, invisible, yet at the heart of our lives, shaping how we learn, how we create, how we move forward. Every day, millions of people rely on Maroc Telecom's networks, covering 99% of the population in Morocco, because behind every connection, there's an idea taking shape, project growing, a future unfolding. For over a century, Maroc Telecom has been driving the evolution of communications in Morocco. Today, a national leader, and across Africa, through the Pan-African subsidiary Move Africa, the group connects nearly 77 million customers across 11 countries. One network, one shared energy, connecting a continent in motion to meet today's needs and anticipate what comes next. With nearly 75 billion dirhams invested in telecommunications over the past 10 years, including 32.27 billion in Morocco and 42.7 billion across its subsidiaries, Maroc Telecom relies on strong infrastructures to keep moving forward. Every day, the group acts to make the world more accessible, more connected, and closer. Today, a new chapter begins. Maroc Telecom, the future is now.
بلادنا كتطور وإحنا في طريقنا معاها. بطموحنا وصلنا للعالمية. سابقين وقتنا وبالريزو 5G غتلقانا ديما واجدين. واجدين بالريزو جديد أسرع اللي غيخلينا ديما القدام. نكبروا نطمحوا وما نتسناوش. نعيشوا مستقبلنا اليوم بتكنولوجيا جديدة تخلينا نفتخروا بثقافتنا وبتراث بلادنا ونقربوا أكثر من أعز الناس لينا. بيها نحلموا نطمحوا نطوروا حياتنا ونشوفوا بعيد. غنخليو العالم يعرف المغاربة علاش قادين ونعيشوا عالمنا بأحسن مكان. بلادنا كتطور وإحنا بالسانكجي معاها.
مرحبا بكم في عالم السرعة مع 5G اتصالات المغرب.
Shukran. Je vais demander à Madame la ministre de venir à mes côtés. S'il vous plaît, on va faire la photo de groupe avec l'ensemble des participants. Madame le secrétaire général UN Tourisme, si vous voulez bien. Monsieur le directeur général d'ASMIT. Monsieur le secrétaire général, venez à mes côtés aussi. Monsieur le président de la Confédération, s'il vous plaît. Voilà, on va se mettre au milieu ici. Et je vais demander aux membres de UN Tourisme, aux membres de la Confédération et aux participants de venir au fur et à mesure. Join us for the photo, please. The jury members, the UN Tourism team, and everybody, all the entrepreneurs, tous les membres de la Confédération nationale du tourisme. Venez, 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 tout le monde. No, your English was okay. Yes. Allez, on va faire plusieurs. Vous passez derrière, on va faire 2 rangées, 3 rangées. Passez derrière. Allez, allez. No, just want to see all of you and say thank you very much for giving me this wonderful opportunity and enjoy Marrakesh. Bon appétit.